Hello and welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's chapters are Ezekiel 6 and 7. Now in Ezekiel 6, he starts by saying, "Son of man, set your face against the mountains of Israel." Now quite clearly, mountains can't sin. God's not judging mountains, but on the mountains, the Israelites had put their high places, their altars to Baal. There was worship going on there, and he's basically saying the Babylonians are coming in. They're going to smash down your altars. They're going to kill everybody who's worshiping around those altars, and there's going to be much weeping and much wailing. The Babylonians were going to be God's instrument to bring judgment on that idolatry. Your idols will be smashed and ruined, verse 6 says. Your people will fall slain among you. But I'm going to spare some, he says in verse 8. There's that remnant that Ezekiel keeps speaking about, that not everyone is going to be judged, because some will remember, and this is what he says, they will remember me, how I have been grieved by their adulterous heart, and they will change. And then he says, strike your hands. So Ezekiel starts to clap his hands and stomp his feet. And what he's doing there is illustrating the marching of the Babylonian army that's on its way, and cry out, alas, because of all the wicked practices that are around. And he says, listen, by the end of this chapter, he says, listen, they will all know that I am the Lord. And Ezekiel actually uses that phrase 60 times in this book of Ezekiel, that they may know that I am the Lord. That's God's plan. His plan is that whether it's through chastening or through blessing, we know that he is the Lord. Now, Ezekiel 7, he says this, the word of the Lord came to me, son of man, this is what the sovereign Lord says against the land of Israel. The end has come upon the four corners of the land. And he uses this phrase again and again and again. He repeats it. You see, he's a faithful watchman, and he's basically saying the Babylonians are coming. The end is coming. Listen. They've already come in once. They've already come in and taken away some exiles. This time they're coming, it's for keeps. The end is coming. And he's basically saying the sovereign Lord says disaster, unheard of disaster, verse 5 says. They're going to come upon those. The end is coming. And then what he does is he uses 5 pictures in graphic language to describe what's actually going to happen. So the first, he says, there's a rod. He says, I see a rod budding. And so in other words, this rod, it's the time has come for the budding of a rod, for the coming of the Babylonians. The time has come for the Babylonians to come and to sort you out. The second picture, he says, I see the year of Jubilee. Now the year of Jubilee, what would happen is that people would get their land back, the debt would be written off, slaves would be set free. But he's basically saying, you're not going to have a year of Jubilee because you're going to be sitting in Babylon for 70 years. There's going to be none of that. And then he gives another picture. He says, the trumpeters, the watchmen who stand on the walls and blow the trumpet when the Babylonians are coming, don't bother, because there's no Israeli army to stop the Babylonians. And then his next picture, he gives a picture of doves fleeing away into a mountain cleft and mourning there. This picture of doves running away. Again, the remnant escaping, some people getting out, grieving heart, waiting on God. And then his final picture is the rich running away, throwing their possessions away as they go with them. But he's basically saying, listen, when the end is coming, he says in verse 19, their silver and gold will not be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. And so he uses this very graphic language to describe the time of the end of Jerusalem as they knew it, the temple as they knew it. Behind me, you can see this beautiful picture. It's a sun setting. It's the end of a beautiful day. But almost when you look into it, darkness is around the corner. That's the picture that he's describing. The end is coming. Darkness around the corner. And then this is how he ends. He says, they will go searching for a vision from a prophet and preach the instruction in the law. But that will cease. And the council of elders will come to an end and says, listen, We've been telling you for a long time now, Ezekiel's been saying, turn to the Lord because the end is coming. I can hear. He's clapping his hands. He's stomping his feet. I can hear the Babylonian army. And this time, they're not coming to check us out. They're coming to destroy everything. And so again and again, the phrase is used. The Lord wants you to know who he is. The Lord in chastisement, the Lord in blessing. He wants you to know who he is and that he's to be worshipped by you. God bless you.